Hi, I'm Jonathan Binns. I went to QE from 2017 to 2019. I'm moving now into my second year at the University of Law in Leeds studying law. When I went to QE, I studied maths, further maths, physics and law, dropping further maths going into second year. I originally took law only as a timetable filler during bridging week, but the single 1 hour taster session, missing the second because it was on the day of prom, opened my eyes to exactly how incredible law as a subject can be. Going into college, it was no question for me that I wanted to take maths, further maths, physics and computer science, with the further intention to study physics at university. However, there was something so interesting about the subject of law for me that it beckoned me in so much that on results day, when I went to enrol at QE, I crossed out computer science and wrote law instead. It is so interesting, and if you enjoy the subject like I did, it's never a chore to revise. Throughout the course, you'll develop your reading and writing skills, and gain skills such as analysis of problem scenarios, which was my personal favourite, where you take your knowledge of law and apply it to an often rather unbelievable scenario dreamed up by an examiner somewhere. It often feels, in a subject, that what you're doing has no real applications. My friends from other subjects, such as physics, were essentially told to forget everything they were taught at A-level, because it was simplified too far that it was no longer accurate, and those doing maths barely wrote a single number in the first semester of university. But going on to my degree, most things are building on stuff that you were taught at A-level, and although it's not a prerequisite, it gives you an advantage against the people from many colleges in the country that don't offer law as an option. That was my experience. Thank you for listening.
Hi everybody, my name's Lucy and I've just finished my first year at university, but between 2017 and 2019 I studied law, history and English literature at QE, and so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experience of studying law and hopefully give you a student's perspective. So bridging was really important for me because it allowed me to decide whether I wanted to study law or whether I wanted to study politics. I obviously did decide in the end to study law, and that was just because of the experience I had during bridging week. I thoroughly enjoyed law, and I was already quite involved in politics anyway, so I decided I just wanted to try something completely new and completely different and something a bit more out of my comfort zone, but something that I still had quite a large interest in. That's kind of why I picked law in the end. Bridging week gave me a really good taster as to what studying law at A-level was going to be like. I really enjoyed doing the Pringles and Prostitutes session that we did, which basically just looked at how law was interpreted and how, depending on the interpretation used by a judge, it could completely change the outcome of a case, and I just found that really fascinating. One of my favourite things about studying law was the fact that we always got to kind of engage in a debate or a discussion when we were learning a new case or we were learning a new point of law, and I really like to have the classroom discussions and talk to other students about what they thought, because it always gave me a new perspective. I also really loved to study case law. Case law was really interesting and kind of made law a bit more personal, especially when we were looking at cases from our local area, such as the Billy Dunlop case, which was used to create the double jeopardy law. That was kind of really interesting to hear, like, some of the famous cases that have come from our area. I also found law really interesting because law is supposed to be accessible for everybody, but the more I learned and more I studied law, the more I realised that actually there are some parts of law that certainly need reform and are actually quite complicated. So learning about law reform and learning about how we can improve law was also really interesting. One of the other main reasons I enjoyed studying law so much was because of the teachers. They're all really encouraging and motivating, and they will help you with anything, whether that's just a question you have about the classwork that you did or whether it comes to marking an essay that you've done. They will be there to support you and help you achieve the grades that you want and to help you succeed. I think that level of support as well was certainly one of the reasons why I did as well as I did in law. Another reason I enjoyed doing law so much is because it was a challenge. It wasn't an easy A-level and there is a lot to learn, but it is something that I really enjoyed and I was up for the challenge, and it helped me to think critically in ways that I hadn't ever thought before, and I've kind of carried that on to university. So as well as developing my critical thinking skills, law also helped me to develop a more disciplined essay writing style. I certainly became more clear and concise writing my law essays because of the time constraints that you have in the exam. You need to be as fluid and as clear as you can be, and that clarity is something that I'm still complimented on now in my history essays at uni, so it certainly is something that has transferred over into my degree. I hope I've managed to give you an insight into what Law A-level is like from a student's perspective. And enjoy Bridget Week.